My house has always been just for me, but lately I've been receiving transfers marked rent, originating from my home IP address. I suspected the place was haunted and planned to hire an exorcist. The next morning, a tiny jumping spider hopped out, trembling, holding up a crumpled little note. "I can pay more. Please, please don't kill me," sob. Something definitely felt off in my home. When washing dishes, I'd feel eyes on me. Watching TV, rustling sounds would come from nearby. Before showering, sometimes I'd hear a tiny gasp, the faint impression of something scuttling away on little legs. Most importantly, every month a transfer would appear, marked rent. Definitely haunted, right? I slumped on the sofa, muttering to myself, and called my friend Alex. "Hey, got a situation at my place. Can you send me the contact for that reliable reverend you mentioned?" The next day I was lounging lazily on the sofa. Reverend Thorne didn't show up, but a tiny voice piped up. "Hello? See, could you look at me?" I focused my eyes. Whoa. It was a tiny, fluffy, black and white striped jumping spider. I swear, it was the cutest spider I'd ever seen. Black and white, timid and fluffy, with 4 huge glistening black eyes all gazing up at me wetly. It seemed terrified, its little legs holding the note trembling slightly. I'm not a bad spirit," it stammered. "I'm a little jumping spider." Its head drooped towards its chest as if about to cry. I pinched the note it held up so laboriously between 2 fingers, a wicked grin spreading across my face. "Prove it then?" How do I prove it?" The little spider tucked its fuzzy legs close to its chest, wringing them nervously. I'm not usually cruel, but looking at this tiny creature sparked an urge to tease it. "Well," I said, "I recall jumping spiders aren't just good at makeup, they can dance too. If you're a jumping spider, show me a little dance." The little spider tilted its head, confused. "Dance? What kind of dance?" I thought for a moment. "How about the courtship dance? See courtship dance?" The spider looked even more bewildered. Asking a female spider to perform a courtship dance was truly putting her on the spot. The little thing waved its 8 legs in a panic, unknowingly revealing the fuzzy belly it tried to hide. So cute. If it were human, its skin would probably be bright pink. I tapped the table. "You don't want to?" No, I do, I'm willing," she rushed out. "But if I dance the courtship dance, can you give me a rose petal?" "A rose petal?" I glanced at the vase on the corner table. Inside were last week's roses, half-dead, red petals scattered messily below. What was so great about that junk? I casually picked out a relatively fresh petal. "Here, thank you." My casual offering was received like a star from the sky. She carefully tucked the petal beneath her round belly, using it as a soft, vibrant stage, then began to dance with gusto, a flurry of tiny movements. Honestly, not bad. I hadn't expected this cute but otherwise unremarkable little arthropod to have such uniquely colored fuzz on its abdomen, a captivating violet sheen. Unlike the rest of its fluffed-up fur, the belly fur looked soft and delicate, like an echo of the deep night sky. She hopped off the red stage of the rose petal, solemnly raised 2 fuzzy hind legs, and carefully, nervously presented this lingering brilliance to me. "For you." I smiled at her, but sneakily extended a finger. While she wasn't looking, I poked her pointy little black rear end. The little spider freaked out, leaping into the air. You spider, good man, bad little spider dances for bad man sneaks a poke at spider's cute butt." Perhaps thinking her dance was terrible, the little spider's 8 eyes dimmed one by one. She curled into a ball, becoming a withdrawn, fuzzy little speck. My conscience, rarely troubled, actually pricked me. Initially, I just wanted to tease this strange little thing and then roughly shoo it away. "Let me introduce myself, Sincere Clark, 28, terminally ill, dying soon. Career cut short, abandoned by loved ones. Looking at the house I'd earned by destroying my health, the world just felt meaningless. Before I died, I just wanted to be alone. For a human whose life was nearing its end, being a little mean, teasing an uninvited guest that suddenly appeared in the house. Surely that wasn't too terrible. Especially since this creature had become my tenant without permission. Simply watching it leave disappointed after getting its hopes up was already a gentle punishment. Who hasn't experienced fruitless endeavors? But the little spider didn't know any of this. She had tried her best, hopping left and right, waving her 8 short fuzzy legs, getting breathless with effort. She didn't understand the casual cruelty of human teasing. She only gave her all to every chance and then doubted herself when she didn't gain approval, turning from cute and lively into a tiny, withdrawn pebble contemplating existence. I thought death had made my heart as cold as a fishmonger's blade, but why did I feel this inexplicable sadness for this tiny, curled-up life? Had I done something wrong? A small, wronged voice, mirroring my thoughts, asked, "Did I do something wrong?" Looking down, the little spider was sobbing. Finally mustering the courage to look up at me, our eyes met, all 12 of them. Oh crap. It was crying from all 8 eyes, a puddle forming beneath it. The fuzz on its belly stuck together pitifully. The little spider pressed its 8 legs under its belly, curled up in the tiny puddle, and said in a dejected voice, "I'm sorry. This was my first time dancing." Was I really that bad? Probably overwhelmed by sadness, she started shedding fuzz frantically. Not bad, the words flew out of my mouth before my brain could catch up. The little spider was great. Maybe I'm the bad one. I continued, "If you really want to stay, I suppose you can." I turned my head away, smiling that wicked grin again. "But little spider, this rent you're paying, it's not nearly enough. Perhaps tiny creatures are easily filled with small joys." The moisture vanished from the little spider's eyes, replaced by 8 shining moons amidst her black and white fuzz. "I'm very useful, I can pay more rent." Wow, could jumping spiders really jump that far? About 3 feet maybe? She leaped onto the table lamp and, moments later, dragged back a large mosquito. Does catching all the mosquitoes in the house count? I wagged my finger. Not enough. She jumped down from the high table again. 15 minutes later, she dragged back a large clump of hair. How about cleaning up all the fallen hair on the floor every day, too? I shook my head. Still not enough. Now the little spider started to panic. Her legs tapped the ground uncertainly. Not enough? It's not enough? That's right. This house is in a very expensive area. I showed her the transaction history. The transfers marked rent sat pitifully in the account, only $50 a month. I opened a rental app. Rent for similar places in this area was around $5,000. She looked at the short 50% and the long $5,000, silent for a long time before finally saying, "So, I really was overreaching." The little spider finally looked truly defeated. Head down, she silently packed a tiny bundle, hoisting it onto her back with a cactus spine. "I'm sorry to have bothered you. I'll leave now." She crawled away step by step, leaving a trail of glistening wetness. "Wait." I blocked her path with a finger. "The insufficient funds, you can pay in kind." "In kind?" The spider stopped. The spider froze. I took the opportunity to scoop her onto my fingertip, placed her on the desk, took out a tissue, and carefully dabbed away the tear tracks on her body. "What does pay in kind mean?" The little spider tilted her head, big eyes wide with confusion. "Exactly what it sounds like," I replied. Pay in kind isn't exactly a nice term in the human world. I was curious how a little spider would interpret it. Unexpectedly, the entire spider lit up with anticipation and joy. "You mean you want me to eat you?" "I'm so happy, eat me." It suddenly occurred to me that in the spider world there are indeed many cases of females eating their mates. Perhaps, in a way, spiders experience emotions more intensely than humans. The little spider turned sideways, shyly fiddling with her legs while simultaneously trying to negotiate. Then, "Can you let me eat a little bit less each day? I'm still very small. You're so big I can't eat too fast." I was speechless. The conversation had suddenly taken a horrifying turn. I remembered watching Black Cat Detective as a kid. The episode where the praying mantis bride ate the groom had left a lasting shadow. Time to steer this back to the right track. I patted the little spider's head, turning her away from her fantasy. Placing my finger on the spot I'd been eyeing for a while, I said, "Paying in kind means I get to poke your cute little behind." Just poking my cute little behind?" The little spider turned back, looking slightly disappointed. "Not just that," I said. "Your job is catching mosquitoes and cleaning hair, and you have to let me poke your butt every day." "Oh, okay. Though a bit hesitant, she agreed quickly. Thinking I couldn't see, the little spider briefly covered her pointy rear with her two hind legs, taking half a step back, then uncovered it again, presenting the black tip towards me. She asked, a little embarrassed, "Just once a day, okay?" "Okay. Cute. Here I go, poke. Oops, sorry, maybe a little too hard." And just like that, I inexplicably gained a tiny tenant. In the morning, the little spider would wait on the nightstand for me to wake up. "Good morning time to poke the butt?" Yes, soft and springy. At noon, after lunch, the little spider would proudly scurry onto the table, dragging 10 dead mosquitoes skewered on a thin strand of hair behind her. "Trophy," she'd declare proudly, like a little general returning from victorious battle. In the evening, as I lay lazily on the sofa in the dark silence, a rustling sound would approach. It was the little spider, dragging the hair she'd painstakingly collected all day. "You shed too much hair, you'll go bald," she complained. "So sorry." Seeing her tiny body dragging the large ball of fuzz, I couldn't help but chuckle. Hair loss is normal, especially since I'm dying anyway. "Hey, little one, come here," I called out. "Where do you usually live?" The little spider pointed towards the dark cupboard. "Don't worry, I take up very little space, and I only eat a tiny bit each day. That's not what I meant." I leaned down, letting the spider crawl onto my hand. I presented her with the spider house I'd secretly made, constructed from small sticks, soft tissues, and a transparent seashell. Inside were relatively intact rose petals I'd collected and shimmering strands of silk. "Since you're my tenant, you need proper accommodation. You work very hard. This is a gift you deserve. Plink." The little spider fainted from happiness in my hand. Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." "Repay?" I hadn't thought about repayment when making the house. But when she said that, an inappropriate fantasy sparked within me. A talking spider that pays rent. That's a miracle, right? Could she bring me more miracles? Possessed by a strange idea, I asked. I've never met a jumping spider that could communicate with humans before. "You're not an ordinary spider, are you?" "No, I'm not," she replied. My heart pounded. "I'm a joy spider, a little spirit that can bring good fortune. I'm currently working hard on my cultivation." "Good fortune. Then, will you?" I finally asked, trembling, voicing the thread of hope hidden in my heart. "Can you cure illnesses?" The air felt cool. The ventilation system hummed quietly. Suffocating silence. A tiny voice whispered, "I'm sorry." She sounded like she'd done something wrong, slowly flattening herself. "I can't." Of course. Miracles don't happen." What joy spider? Life had few joys. Bad luck still found me. My mood turned instantly foul. "Liar," I blurted out. The little spider flinched as if struck by something invisible, trembling violently, looking at me helplessly. I slowly covered my eyes. My palms felt wet. A tear escaped. "Sincere Clark, what are you doing? Why hurt a little spider who doesn't understand anything?" "Sorry," I said, composing myself, lowering my hands. The little spider was still standing there, stunned, holding a round tear between her two front legs. "Is this a human tear?" She lowered her head, opened her mouth parts, and actually drank the tear drop by drop. A bitter, slightly hoarse voice came from her. I reached out, forming a wall with my hand to stop her, looking at her seriously. "I'm sorry. Are you angry?" "No." She still looked stunned. Why don't I have a heart? Seeing your tears, my chest feels so tight. I hurt her, I thought, but she can't express it. It's stuck inside. "I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it up to you?" I asked sincerely. If the little spider wanted, I'd give her all my remaining savings. But the little spider just looked at me. She said then, then kiss me, shocked. Things always went in directions I never expected. What kind of story was this? Some sleeping beauty plot? Or an enchanted spirit, needing a human kiss to transform into a beautiful woman who'd repay me with her devotion? But she was barely half an inch long when she wasn't moving. She looked like a fuzzy little fruit pit. You could swallow her whole. A tiny spider daring to ask for a human kiss? You know what a kiss is? I asked. I know. It's when your lips touch me. She actually knew. I slowly opened my mouth, deliberately trying to scare her, revealing my sharp canine teeth. My teeth are very hard for a little spider, you know. It's okay. I put on a very wicked expression. Do you know how many times bigger I am than you? A little thing like you. I could accidentally bite you to death. I'm not afraid, the little spider's voice was calm and firm. My eyes see size ratios similar to humans. To me, you're like a transformer is to a human. Smooch. My lips gently touched a tiny ball of fluff. Soft. Would a miracle happen? No. The annoying little spider actually let out a shy squeak and vanished in a flash. After that, the little spider shut herself away for 3 days. I moved the spider house from the cupboard to my bedside table. A crooked little on leave sign hung on the door. She didn't eat or drink inside, only offering up her pointy black rear end daily. Day 1, I found it amusing. Day 2, it was getting boring. Day 3, the house was too quiet. I lay on the sofa, bored, staring at the dusty ceiling. Bang, 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 loud knocking suddenly broke the silence. Hello, gas inspection from property management. Another inspection? I shuffled to the door in slippers. Standing there wasn't property management, but my ex-girlfriend, Brenda, whom I'd broken up with 6 months ago. Sincere, the uninvited guest, barged in without waiting. Sincere, I finally found you your health. I took a deep breath, looking with disgust at the impeccably dressed woman. She feigned concern, but her eyes glittered with calculation. We'd had a college romance once, shared sweet moments strolling through campus lanes. After graduation, I entered finance, working grueling hours. She claimed she wanted to study for grad school, rented a place, and started revising. Thanks to my hustle and solid knowledge, I quickly caught a wave and made my first fortune. When I bought the house, she'd clung to me, promising to be the cutest little wife and stay with me forever. I admit I liked women who were soft and nurturing. Life was peaceful initially, but then the pandemic hit, revealing her true colors. When I caught a high fever, she was terrified and kept her distance, delivering food at noon, wearing a gas mask, spicy takeout noodles dripping with red oil at night. Delirious, I called her. She was busy gaming with some guy. After I recovered, I packed all her belongings and threw them out, leaving only the words, "We're done." She was first surprised, then cried and begged, but when I mentioned her gaming buddy, a twisted, strange smile appeared. "Look at you," she sneered. "Since we got together, how many bags have you bought me? My best friend's boyfriend not only gives her gifts often, but also thousands in allowance every month, and you stingy bastard, you don't work out, you can't even talk properly. Who'd want you after I leave?" Ridiculous. Her clothes, her necklace, her shoes, even her most intimate things, I bought them all. I clenched my fists. "Are you leaving or not?" But she put on a pitiful act again. "I won't go." She grabbed my clothes. I blocked her contact information and threw her out like trash. Then I sold the house and moved. Perhaps the move was too strenuous. One night, working late, I suddenly collapsed at my desk. When I woke up, the doctor told me I had a terminal illness. The news reached home. My father, Marcus, was furious first. "Your brother Daniel isn't even married yet. If we spend money treating you, won't he end up single? And we're planning to build a house back home this year." My mother, Eleanor, took the phone, whispering gently, "Maybe don't get treated? Save the money. Dragging it out in the hospital doesn't guarantee quality of life, does it? Losing both the person and the money is never good." I hung up. In the brightly lit house, my chest ached inexplicably, making it hard to breathe. Unable to get my money, my parents and Daniel quickly cut ties, not even calling. My Aunt Agnes told me they were waiting to automatically inherit my estate. My ex, Brenda, somehow heard I wasn't long for this world, tracked me down, and started showering me with fake concern, wanting to marry me because she also wanted to be the primary heir. "I'll take good care of you," she was saying now, standing in my doorway. I used to love grinding, working myself to the bone, thinking hard work could solve anything. But now, at 28, I finally understood what ephemeral illusions meant. Ha! How laughable. Put the knife down. Look at you, you can barely stand. Brenda advanced menacingly. I raised my hand, trying to scare her off, but felt the fluid in my veins roar. Everything I saw had heavy black shadows. A wave of dizziness hit me. I instinctively started to fall backward, but in the corner of my eye, the little "on leave" sign on the bedside table flickered faintly. Can't fall. The little spider's condition is unknown. Summoning my last bit of strength, I lunged forward. Ah, you asshole, compared to before, my body was truly weak. I couldn't grip the knife handle properly. The tip only left a scratch on her forearm before clattering to the floor. She lunged like a madwoman, clamping her hands tightly around my neck. My failing body and loss of control made me dizzy. I couldn't break free. Was I going to die? But before I did, I couldn't drag the little spider down with me. With my last ounce of strength, I kicked the spider house under the bed. Crack suddenly, a sound like shattering tile. 8 crimson, eerie eyes lit up. "What's that?" Monster, the pressure on my neck suddenly released. The woman let out a blood-curdling scream. Pat, pat, pat. In the dimness, as stars swam before my eyes, I thought I saw a black, half-human, half-spider silhouette slowly emerge from under the bed. Elle let him go. When I woke up, I was in my soft bed. Clothes intact, body dry. Was it a nightmare? I got out of bed. The knife, still stained with blood, lay on the floor. "Victoria?" I looked towards the bedside table. The spider house had collapsed into fragments. The messy wreckage was empty. Was she hurt? Did she run away? My vision darkened, cold sweat broke out. "Victoria, Victoria, where did you go?" Ignoring the tightness in my chest, I stumbled up, searching the bedroom, living room, bathroom. I called her name coaxingly in the places she frequented. As tears hit the floor, a tiny, choked sob came from the dark, closed kitchen. "P, please, don't open it. I've become so ugly." Found her. My heart finally settled back into my chest. She hadn't left me alone. I turned on the voice-activated lights. The kitchen slowly brightened. A large, dark shadow stood frozen, motionless. Anyone seeing it for the first time would be terrified. A giant, fluffy, spider-like creature suddenly appearing in the house, with 8 sharp claws that left scratches on the tile glaze when it moved like something out of a low-budget B-movie. "But don't be afraid." I gently placed my hand on the door, trying to convey the warmth of my palm through the cold, frosted glass to the creature inside. Silence from within. "Come out first. You paid rent. I have a duty to check on my tenant's safety." I'm hideous. A light, girlish voice, hoarse from crying. "You're not ugly, I already saw. Very fierce and swift, but also very cute. I like it." Click. The door opened. First, a hesitant claw emerged, tapping nervously at the doorway with spider-like hesitation. Without hesitating, I grabbed it and pulled out a half-human, half-spider girl. Victoria had indeed become huge. Height-wise, she was only about 4 inches shorter than me. Purple hair, like jacaranda blossoms, cascaded over her shoulders. She kept her head turned away, covering her eyes with both hands. Looking only at her upper body, she was an exquisite, beautiful girl. But below the waist, her soft abdomen connected to a fearsome spider body. Cute and terrifying combined jarringly, creating a strange allure, like a sorceress from myth. Especially the spider abdomen, which her 8 large claws tried frantically to cover despite her efforts. It was still captivating. Oh, and her pointy rear end was trembling frantically in panic. Smack. I slapped her butt again. Cue bounce. Ah, she jumped up in alarm, the fuzz on her abdomen standing on end. Actually, I thought her spider belly was beautiful. Fluffy, looked so soft to touch, like a swirl of enchanting purple smoke. "It's beautiful," I said, stroking the captivating purple sheen. It felt incredibly soft, like touching a gentle soul. She finally lowered her hands from her face, willing to turn her head and look at me properly. "Really? Really?" I raised my hand and gently wiped away her tears. "You are the most beautiful jumping spider in the world." The little spider chose a name for herself, Victoria. After Victoria grew large, she couldn't fit into the tiny spider house anymore. I wanted to put her in the spare bedroom, but she refused, wanting only to curl up on the floor by my bed. So I ordered her a large cat bed online as her new spider nest, filled it with soft, beautiful fabrics, and placed a giant spider plushie inside. Initially, I slept in bed, and she slept beside it. Gradually, I discovered she would sneakily sleep at the foot of my bed during the night. Victoria's biggest frustration after growing larger was being unable to reach tiny corners to clean. So I bought her a robot vacuum. Unexpectedly, Victoria was very displeased with it. She worried this round little thing would usurp her position. Sometimes I'd see her puffing up angrily, scraping her sharp claws threateningly across the robot's surface. The charging robot, round-headed and blinking its red light, ignored her completely. Consequently, Victoria felt a great sense of crisis, fearing she'd lost favor. She quickly learned to use her human hands, taught herself laundry and organizing, and 3 days later produced a pot of fragrant tomato beef stew. "Oh my God," I exclaimed. Accustomed to takeout, I impulsively hugged her tightly. "Victoria, I absolutely adore you, really?" "Really?" Victoria's exposed skin instantly turned pink. Her whole body grew hot, but she raised 2 claws high, holding on to me firmly. "I love you too." Her eyes sparkled with a dreamy light. "So, are we partners now?" I was speechless. Adore you was just a casual phrase. But Victoria looked like she'd received the most precious affirmation. Seeing the spider girl so happy her fuzz stood on end, the words I just said it casually got stuck in my throat. "Sincere. Darling." She used pet names she'd picked up somewhere. Crouching down, rubbing against me, her pointy rear held high. I had to admit, she was incredibly endearing. My heart started pounding violently. To bring things back to normal, I lifted her little head. "That woman who broke in earlier, what did you do to her?" A flash of sharp venom crossed Victoria's dark eyes. "She will never come back again." She bared her fangs, her eyes flashing faintly red. "Did you eat her?" I asked. "No, I don't eat people. She just won't remember this place anymore." She closed her eyes, nuzzling my hand contentedly. "Darling, from now on you belong only to me. I'm so happy. That woman will have no intelligence left." That was the unspoken second half of Victoria's sentence. Much later, I saw a news report about a disheveled, mentally vacant woman covered in trash, and realized it was my long-vanished ex-girlfriend, Brenda. Victoria had spared her life but completely destroyed her mind. Now she just looked at me gently, harmlessly, waiting for my answer to her earlier question, "Are we partners now?" I thought for a moment, then asked, "Victoria, after jumping spiders become partners, how long do they usually stay together?" "About half a year," she nodded seriously. I breathed a sigh of relief. Half a year, that wasn't too bad. That way, when my life ended, she wouldn't be too heartbroken, and at least I could have some happy companionship in my final moments. After becoming partners, Victoria clearly grew bolder. She used to accept any gift I gave her with immense gratitude and cherish it. But today, I actually found her secretly beating up the spider plushie in her nest. It probably started one morning when I woke up to find Victoria hugging me tightly from behind, while I, in my sleep, had clutched the spider plushie. The plushie was a Jellycat Halloween spider, made with its head slightly raised, floppy, fuzzy, its black eyes looking harmlessly at everyone. Now, it was turned over pitifully, Victoria viciously pounding it with a fierce expression. Probably afraid of actually breaking it, she only used her human hands, not her sharp claws. How dare you compete with me for favor, Victoria hissed through gritted teeth. I advise you to recognize your place in this house, good heavens. Had she been watching some bizarre palace intrigue drama? Victoria, I walked out, suppressing a laugh. The spider girl was clearly startled, all her fuzz standing rigid. Turning her back to me, she quickly hugged the plushie, smoothed its ruffled fur against her cheek, then tilted her head to look at me. I was just tidying the nest. Scheming little spider, I raised my hand to stroke Victoria's cheek. Don't you like this plushie? She watched me cautiously, slowly relaxing. When you hold it, the way it smiles is so annoying, provocative, a very calculating bad spider. Victoria, probably hatching another scheme, tapped her rear claws restlessly. Can you tell it you love me, then hit it once, and then lock it in the closet? Oh, the poor plushie, banished to the cold palace by consort Victoria. In front of Victoria, I put the plushie away, leaving only the pillow and blanket carrying our scents in the spider nest. But I didn't expect that after Victoria's triumphant victory in the battle for favor, the next morning, I wouldn't wake up in my own house. Sincere, blinding white sheets, stark fluorescent lights. I was in the hospital. Victoria threw herself beside me, her face streaked with tears. Mr. Clark, you're finally awake. Your little girlfriend was worried sick, the nurse teased. Little girlfriend? Only then did I notice Victoria had completely transformed into a human. Considering Victoria's future after the 6 months, I had tried to introduce her to human society, starting with watching the news, gradually explaining various common-sense aspects of human life, hoping she could live well after I was gone. I thought it would be a gradual process. I didn't expect fate to be so cruel sometimes. Time moved too fast. I didn't know how Victoria, who had only recently started learning about human society, managed to change from half spider to human and get me to the hospital. I'm sorry. Did I scare you? Are you hurt? Victoria held me tightly, tears falling onto my neck. It's okay, Victoria. I tried my best to comfort her, reminding her of our previous conversation. Victoria, after jumping spiders become partners, how long do they usually stay together? About half a year. Unexpectedly, Victoria burst into heart-wrenching sobs, saying half a year. That's because ordinary spiders only live for a year. I watched you for a long time, followed you for a long time. I worked hard to become like this precisely because I wanted a future with you forever, a whole lifetime future. Time. They used to be readily available. I didn't care. Now they were like flowers in a mirror, the moon on water, unattainable even with all the money in the world. I knew you long before. Victoria told a story about a little boy and a spider. I was born in the countryside. My family wasn't well off. I always shared a room with my younger brother, Daniel. Under the dim light of our bungalow, little bugs often crawled around. Sometimes, attracted by the light, they'd get lost and climb onto the table. What's this? A spider? Gross, a dizzy little spider wandered onto the tabletop and was immediately trapped under Daniel's sturdy cardboard box. It scurried around in panic but was relentlessly poked with a pen. What are you doing? I yelled, jumping off the bed and pulling Daniel away. Let it go. What's the point of torturing a bug? None of your business, mongrel. Who do you think you are? The little boy struggled wildly. My face hardened. I started making up a scary story. That's a joy spider, understand? A little spirit that brings good fortune. You're doomed, bully, a joy spider, and all your good luck for life will disappear, liar. I don't believe you to free the jumping spider. I got into a fight with Daniel. His head bled, my face swelled up, but thankfully the outcome was good. He couldn't beat me and ran off crying to tell on me. I quickly removed the box. Go, how could you be so careless? The little spider didn't run. Instead, it jumped strangely in front of me. Victoria said she was thanking me then. But she was tiny back then, just looking like a strange little gray speck. I only thought she was hungry. Hunting must be hard for such a small creature. Smack, I killed a mosquito on myself and tossed the blood-filled corpse in front of her. Scared you? Caught a mosquito for you. Eat it and go. You changed after that? Yes. I became more agile and smarter. Following me for so long? Yes. I could hide in your backpack, your suitcase. That dangerous? So small, so fragile. The bumps and impacts could have easily crushed you. I remembered how clumsy she looked in the box as a child, and how agile she was demonstrating her value as a tenant. Becoming like this, she must have suffered many injuries, right? How many times did she escape death, finally stumbling her way to me, only for me to make her sad? My smile must have looked awful. Knowing this, I wouldn't have fed you that mosquito. If you had met someone else, things wouldn't be like this. Sincere, Victoria looked at me very seriously. I was originally just an ordinary spider. If I had met someone else, there wouldn't have been such a miracle. Sincere is the greatest fortune in my life. The joy of loving, the happiness of being loved. I never felt those things as a spider. I know, Victoria suddenly said happily. Wait for me. After that, she disappeared for a whole day. That evening, we checked out of the hospital and returned home under the moonlight. She proudly lifted her face, bathed in the moon's glow. Remember you asked if I could heal? I'm not a liar, I can heal now. We returned home. She resumed her routine laundry, cooking, watching TV with me on the sofa. She even learned to play video games. My body grew weaker and weaker. She clung to me constantly, never leaving the house again. A month later, she reverted to her half-human, half-spider form, but she had lost her human arms and spider eyes sprouted on her forehead. Victoria, I looked at her worriedly. Are you okay? She covered her face with her fuzzy claws, pretending to cry. Wah, you find me disgusting now. It took a whole night of kissing her forehead to soothe her. Another month passed. Victoria became a large jumping spider, the size of a soup bowl. Victoria, how can we change you back? Maybe blood tears or something? I'm not sure. Some have great power, some don't, she said nonchalantly. Tears are easy. I took out a bottle of eye drops. The drops fell onto the spider's head, turning her into a drenched spider. She shook off the water beads clinging to her head, 8 eyes sparkling at me. No change. I held her worriedly, comforting her softly. Don't be afraid. But she chirped energetically. I'm changing back. Another week went by. Victoria grew smaller and smaller, eventually returning to the form of a tiny jumping spider. It's okay, she held up a sign high. It read, Don't worry about me. Victoria, I strained to see her clearly. If you don't tell me the truth, I don't want you anymore. The bottom line between partners is honesty. She hesitated for a long time, then scrawled crookedly on the paper, I love you. I knew. Something terrible must have happened. I didn't experience the expected decline. Instead, after hitting rock bottom, my health started improving, slowly at first, then rapidly. Meanwhile, the little spider's condition deteriorated drastically. She began shedding fuzz. The purple fur on her abdomen gradually fell off. Victoria, what on earth are you doing? I struggled to suppress the panic beneath my calm facade. Whatever method you're using to hurt yourself, stop it now. She pretended not to understand. I threatened. Otherwise, humans have 100 ways to end their own lives. No, don't, she finally panicked. I'm not hurting myself. This is something I must do. Not hurting herself? Then what was this visible decline? Maybe my expression was too terrifying. She finally said, Sincere. In the spider world, sacrificing oneself for the one you love is a very happy thing. For young spiders, for a partner, it's the greatest honor for any spider. She became the small gray speck I first met, trying hard to hop and dance, finally pressing herself forcefully against my fingertip. Poke my butt. My lungs felt like they were drowning in tears. Victoria, are you leaving me too? Not leaving. Being together forever. Sacrificing life is difficult magic. It's because you love me with all your heart that I can do this. She curled into a tiny ball on my fingertip. More and more fuzz fell off. Finally, only a tiny gray, light, empty shell remained. It felt like a puff of wind could shatter it. The hospital wanted to give me a banner, calling me a medical miracle. Many friends reconnected. Mr. Harrison, the chairman, personally called, asking me to come back to work. I made many new friends, earned much more money, received countless praises and affection. I gained a healthy life, but the spider box was missing a fluffy little jumping spider. One night I dreamed Victoria was laughing, snatching all the beef stew. I woke up pounding the table in anger, then looked at the spider house and sobbed uncontrollably. I sold the house, quit my job, and traveled from place to place with the spider house. My eyes slowly filled with the diverse sights of the world. But they couldn't hold tears, they always overflowed. Didn't Victoria say loving each other enables the sacrifice? Then I would search for the jumping spider's miracle magic, give half my life back to her, and use the remaining half to weave a future together. I don't know how many years I searched. Finally, one day I saw a star in my dream. The star fell, transforming into vast meadows made of gemstones. The meadows expanded, circling ponds. Stars kept falling, exploding into tiny fireworks on the water's surface. On the gemstone grass were sheep made of cotton candy. They ate the gemstone grass, moved slowly, their fluffy bodies bumping clumsily against each other. Some sheep were knocked high into the sky, their wool puffing up into clouds. The sheared sheep fell back down from the sky, quickly hopping away. The newly formed clouds brought rain. The rain grew torrential, gradually becoming a raging river full of giant whirlpools. A bowl floated precariously on the river. I scooped up the bowl. Curled inside was a round-headed little jumping spider. She said, "You cried too many tears. They washed me back from the other side." Epilogue. A small town on the edge of the state gained two outsiders, the spider painter and the guest house owner. The spider painter gained some fame online. Her serialized comic about the daily life of a little jumping spider, and her owner was widely popular. Many people came seeking her out, but she was rather mysterious, often keeping her door closed. The guest house owner ran a small two-story inn. Vibrant flowering vines thrived on the lush green porch. If you timed it right, you could get the owner's handmade chicken noodle soup in the morning, clear broth poured steaming over white noodles. The owner would lift his spatula and call out, "Victoria, go braise some more chicken."